welcome to the commentary booth where we watch and you guessed it, commentate on the week that was in movies and TV. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator Jamie Apps, and each week I'm joined by a rotating cast of colour commentators to help you find your next viewing treat. This week I'm joined by an impact fee technician who lists their favourite movie as A Nightmare on Elm Street and favourite TV show as Golden Girls. Welcome back to the show, Corrina Mabey.
Hello again. How are you?
I'm good. You finished with all your horror shenanigans for the month, or no?
No, this is the first weekend of Halloween Horror Nights, and it was a holiday weekend, so I got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then I have the rest of the month of September to go, and I can technically go Wednesday through Sunday now, is what starts this week, but I'm only going to be going Friday and Saturdays. And maybe...
How many houses are there to
There's
get
10 houses. There's 10 houses, and we've collectively done 5 already in a span of 3 nights, and we actually repeated one house, actually, so.
Jesus.
It's fun. I mean, when we finish the houses, we'll either do them again, or we'll just sit down and people watch and get a good laugh out of that, because that's hilarious.
Fair enough. You haven't done the one house that you need to do.
What I did Last of Us.
Oh, did you?
I did, yeah, I did Last of Us on Friday. I did Stranger Things and Last of Us on Friday, and then I did Chucky and a Yeti one and some other one. I forget what other one it was, like a carnival one or something, on a Saturday, and then 3 on yesterday. So yeah.
Was the Last of Us one good?
It was wonderful. It's based more on the video game side of things. So if you haven't played the game and you've only watched the show, you'll only really pick up on things. Or if you've only watched the show and not played the game, you'll pick up on things, but it won't be as in your face. Like there's certain things you won't recognize or understand probably. Because it's not sponsored by HBO. The house is sponsored by PlayStation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because the show is pretty close.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. Like, it's just...
I guess it's like the spores thing? Is that like the big difference?
I think so, and like certain sequences that they like didn't do, like... I don't want to give too much away, but I mean, you're not going to go, so... and whatever. But like, it starts out kind of like in the middle of the game. And,
okay.
So like...
Yeah, well, I guess that makes sense when... Joel has Ellie, not right at the start when it's just Joel.
Yeah, and then also what kind of threw people off, I guess, because it's sponsored by PlayStation, is that on the side of the building they have like a vinyl graphic, I guess, and it says Last of Us Part 1 on the bottom. So some people were like, oh my god, is there like a Part 2 after we go through Part 1? But there's not. It's just Part 1.
Yeah, no. It's based on the game. Part 1.
Yeah, one of the people we went with was very confused and slightly annoyed. They're like, wait, there's 2 houses and no one fucking told me. And I'm like, no, there's just the fucking one.
Yeah. That just leaves it open that they can come back next year with Part 2.
Yeah, but no, it's really fun. I had a lot of fun in it. I waited 90 minutes collectively in line to go through that house.
Yeah, I imagine that's probably the most popular one at the moment.
Yeah, it was up to like 120, I think, or 100 and something yesterday when we went. So we skipped doing that one again.
That's a lot of waiting.
Yeah, that one's the top house, followed by Stranger Things so far for times.
Makes sense.
But we're not here to talk about horror nights. We're here to talk about other exciting things in the world of entertainment.
So, before we dive into the latest movie and review topic, Pario magazine stands in solidarity and support of the WGA and SAG-AFTRA in their fight for better working conditions. Our publication has always been focused on the creative brands of these individuals rather than on the business of film and TV. As such, we will continue to highlight their creative talents during this time so that their contribution to our entertainment is not overlooked. Yes, so this week we are setting sail on our first adventure across the high seas with the Straw Hats Pirates, as we give our first-time viewer impressions / review of the live action One Piece series on Netflix. So yeah, neither of us have watched the anime or read the manga, so going in like totally blind to this one. And I didn't even like read like a synopsis on what it was about or anything. I was just like, I know this thing is like hugely popular and has an insane amount of episodes to adapt into a live action series.
Yeah.
So I was kind of shocked when like the opening scene is like, oh look, it's pirates. I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting pirates. That's okay.
So yeah, I've never, again, yeah, same thing. I've never read it, never watched it. My daughter told me it's well over 1,000 episodes, and one of the longest running anime series, and it's still going. So I feel like I have missed that boat, all puns intended, to start with the anime. But yeah, I did know that it was about pirates because one of my friends is very into this show. And I have not been able to pick Crutch's brain yet on this one. I was hoping to be able to pick his brain on it before we did our review, but I have not yet. So I'm anxious to see what he says. But I enjoyed it, and I was really excited to see it become adapted into live action. I'm very curious as to how they're going to condense so many episodes of an anime into a live action series that's going to keep the audience.
Oh yeah, because I've just looked it up now. As of September 3, 2023, there are 1,074 episodes of the anime.
It's a lot. Especially
Currently
if they're gonna,
in its 20th season.
Yeah, so like, because I've never watched it, I don't know if maybe they like condensed like a couple seasons into this first season, or how many episodes they actually condensed into each one, because each one's about, I don't know, a little under an hour, 45 minutes to an hour almost.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I think there was a couple that were like just over an hour, so it's in and around that hour mark for every episode.
Yeah, and generally anime episodes are like 20, 25 minutes, so.
Yep. Yeah, so basically, the description of the show says, in a seafaring world, a young pirate captain sets out with his crew to attain the title of Pirate King and discover the mythical treasure known as the One Piece. Didn't know that's where the title came from either. I was like, okay, that's interesting. Very cool. This Netflix version is a live-action adaptation of the ongoing Japanese manga series, which began in 1997 by Eiichiro Oda, who actually served as a creative consultant for the series, so I think that definitely helped keep it in line with his vision for the story.
Yeah, I like when they are able to at least grab some of the original like creators or something when they're going to do a live action project. It's always a great thing to have.
Mm-hmm. And this first season broadly covers the first 44 episodes of the anime and first 95 chapters of the manga. And it's basically, this season covered what is known as the East Blue Saga, which kind of made sense once you got to the end of the 8 episodes. I was like, okay, that's definitely this saga, and then there's 4 more seas.
Yeah.
And then the Grand Line itself.
Grand Line.
So
that makes sense.
they could easily get 5 seasons at minimum, I think.
Yes. Yeah. Which is good. I'm excited about it. I'm kind of glad that they went with doing a series of this instead of trying to do a movie.
Yeah.
Because we all saw what happened. We all saw what happened with Death Note. And so I was like, really, I'm always on the fence when it comes to turning, especially like anime series into live action, because it could go horribly, horribly wrong.
Just, look at the Dragon Ball movie.
I was going to say Dragon Ball is another perfect example of completely gone wrong.
That movie was horrid compared to... It wasn't even like... No, that was just bad.
Bad.
And I've read a few like little short reviews like on Twitter and stuff this season. From what I've read, apparently this is a little too fan servicey at points. Okay. But for me, as a first time viewer, I didn't sort of get any of that, obviously. And I found the season really interesting and compelling.
It's fun. it's a really
I,
fun
I,
show.
I definitely didn't feel like I need to like drop off this. I was like, okay, cool. I want to see the next episode. I want to see the next episode.
Yeah, I think I might have run into an issue, but it also could be because I'm super fucking drained while I'm watching this. Like I told you I powered through all 8 of these episodes in 3 days, also running on like a collective 12 hours of sleep over 3 days. But like I feel like some of the episodes dragged a little bit in certain parts, and so I slightly lost attention to it in spots, but overall it was still really, really fun and enjoyable.
That and my other big complaint with it is sort of in the middle, like middle 3 episodes, it does start to kind of just feel like a monster of the week type show,
Yeah.
where it's just like, oh, now we're fighting this pirate, now we're fighting this pirate, rather than this overarching epic journey story. Like, that's kind of there as an underpinning the whole way, but there are like the episode with Buggy and Kuro. In that sort of section, it does feel like, okay, now we're just like, okay, here's this pirate that we have to fight. Now here's this pirate. And I imagine in the anime, those are much more stretched out. They're not like back-to-back episodes or right near each other. I feel like they're probably 10 or 20 episodes apart. So it feels like you're going on this adventure and then you get to this place. And there they are, not like, oh, the very next island has another crazy pirate that we have to fight.
Yeah, and there's like it's like you said, there's like a lot of like, it's smushed, very smushed in between like pirate fighting. There's not like a lot of like them and their journey. Like I expected them to not just come across like pirates, and maybe it's because I've never watched the show or anything, but I expected them to also like maybe conquer like sea monsters or something, or like anything to kind of like hinder their journey from island to island and stuff.
We do get like one little glimpse at like a sea monster, and the marine captain basically
one
just
thing though
yells at it and it runs away. Like, okay.
Yeah, and that was like so random too, by the way. Like it was a very random sequence in general. But, you know, it's just I expected more than just like pirates fighting pirates, and like I understand Luffy wants to, you know, show everybody that pirates are not just mean cutthroat people, they're are good pirates and stuff. So it's fun. It's just some of it was very like full on pump the brakes a little bit, please, because it's just too much similarities between everything.
Especially when they're like, between pirate fights, we're also introducing the Straw Hat crew. Like, it felt like every episode was introducing a brand new character, and sometimes 2 or 3 new characters at once. You're like, oh, can we slow down? Like, I'm very overwhelmed.
Yeah, and also, like, I feel like they probably could have pumped it a little bit too on backstories of all the characters, because every single character of the Straw Hat crew got a backstory in this season, and we saw their backstory in the season. And I go, all right, well, that's cool. Like, now we've seen everybody, and we know how they got here, but I didn't need a whole like half episode dedicated to that backstory.
I wonder if that was a case of Netflix has only signed them for one season initially.
Okay.
So there's not even a confirmation yet that they're getting a second season. So it's kind of, they were like, we need to just get as much of this backstory and lore so that I guess the way it ends, it is open to continue more, but it also does feel like a self-contained story in this one season. It doesn't feel like, oh, if it never comes back, I've lost heaps.
Yeah, they were careful. I will say that I'll agree with you on that. They were careful with the way that they planned this and kind of like timed it out in their strategy with it, probably. So, I mean, that was really smart on their part.
And another issue with it feeling very condensed is the original plan was to do a 10-episode season.
Oh, thank God they didn't.
Yeah, it was... Yeah, originally planned to film a 10-episode season in Cape Town in May 2020. And then, obviously, the pandemic hit. So filming was delayed and didn't begin until January 31st, 2022. and then finished in August 22nd, 2022. So they knocked it out fairly quickly.
Yeah.
And they built a bunch of ships in South Africa specifically for it. So, like, the actual Luffy's ship is real. Like, it's not just a big set where they're sitting on green boxes. Like, they built a lot of these ships, which is
This ship is
pretty
so
awesome.
fun. With the big gigantic like goat head or whatever it is. It's the coolest thing ever.
And then they also got the Japanese voice actors to provide the dubbing for the Japanese version. So
Oh, okay. Well, that's really cool. That people, if they've watched the anime, they can kind of, it resonates with them again, and they don't have to really like wonder, oh God, who's this random person now?
Yeah, there was only one person that was replaced, and it was Jurota Kasugi was replaced by Hiroki Tochi as Arlong.
Oh, okay.
And they didn't say why, so not sure. But yeah, like I said, they've only committed to this one season so far, which is a little bit weird. But in the debut weekend, it's been the concurrent viewership has seen it reach Netflix's #1 in over 84 countries.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw something about that.
Which surpasses the debut records set by Stranger Things and Wednesday.
Yeah, so it's massive and big. I think that they probably struck gold, honestly, because it's been around for such a long time that people our age know about it from like when it first started, but also kids my daughter's age, like in the teens and stuff like that, they resonate with it because they know about it too. So they're hitting like a very large age margin with this particular show versus like Stranger Things, where you might not have young kids watching it as much as the adults. So bravo to them.
So yeah, I think like based on that, I wouldn't be surprised if they get a second season. Like I'd be more shocked if they didn't. But the issue is the writers' strike and actors' strike and everything.
Yeah.
What would normally be 15 to 18 months between seasons is probably going to be closer to 2 years or more.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit.
It'll be interesting to see if they can sort of keep that momentum going in, what will it be, like 2026 by the time this comes out.
And I feel like what's really is kind of crazy to me is that I remembered them talking about making this into a show, like a live action, and I never heard anything about it again. Like, I completely just dropped off from my mind until you were like, hey, One Piece is coming out. And I go, wait, it's still fucking happening? Like, I just completely forgot that it was still releasing. I didn't realize that they had finished filming it or anything. And I think it had to do with the fact that it happened during the pandemic and everything. So hopefully that doesn't happen if they decide to go with a second season. Like, hopefully it just maintains, like, its, fan base, essentially.
Yeah, like, I really enjoyed it. I'd be happy to watch a second season, but yeah, it's not going to be any time soon. Like, it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at, like, the production value. Like, they didn't cheap out on this. Like, there is high production value. Like I mentioned, they built a bunch of ships. All of the VFX are incredible. Like, there's nothing that like looks cheap about it.
No, it was fun. Even down to like some of the pirates and their questionable like character looks and stuff like that. They were still really well done,
Yeah, like some of the like costuming and prosthetics look a bit weird, but like Luffy's stretchy ability looks phenomenal. Buggy's like slice and dice thing looks great. Like, the VFX here are better than some of the Marvel stuff we've been seeing recently.
Yeah, because with all the issues that Marvel was having and stuff like that, I feel like their quality just kind of went down because their people were so overworked. But
So yeah, like, I thought it was great. Quite violent, quite graphic, which I wasn't expecting, and dark as well at times. Like, it's pretty sad and depressing at times, but then there's Luffy's crazy ADHD energy to make it a bit more fun and silly.
He's such like a light-hearted pirate too. Like, it's really hard to like comprehend that he wants to be like a swashbuckling pirate when everybody like thinks of pirates as being like really mean and stuff, and he's just like, "Good job, guys. Let's get together and do this thing." And I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, I don't think he looks at like pirate in the traditional definition. Like he's kind of just looking at it as being a pirate means you're free to do whatever you want.
Yeah,
Not
and
like,
follow
I have
your
to go
dreams and stuff.
Yeah. It's not. It's not. I have to go and plunder and pillage and steal all this stuff and make myself rich. Like he's just like, I want to be the king of pirates and I want to help people and I want my friends to live out their dream. Like, okay.
Yeah, and he was like so supportive. Like when what's his face was like, I want to be a Marine. He's like, all right, not a problem. We're not going to be friends probably next time we see each other, but we're still going to be great. And I wish you the best of luck, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
speaking of Kobe, did you recognize that actor?
no, I didn't recognize anybody in this show except for my favorite narrator of all fucking time. Ian McShane narrated the beginning, and he's fucking amazing. Oh. You didn't know that? Oh, yes, nope. I win. Yeah. He was just, I love Ian McShane, and the fact that like he played Blackbeard in the pirate movies, and now he's narrating One Piece. I'm like, this is fucking perfect.
Yeah. So the actor that plays Kobe is Morgan Davis. Okay. Morgan Davies, who was in the most recent... What was that movie we watched? The horror one. With the Book of the Damned.
Evil Dead Rise?
Evil Dead, yeah, that's it. He's one of the kids.
Like, we've watched a lot of movies recently that you've questioned, so
yeah.
what are we talking about?
Morgan Davis is one of the kids in that movie.
Okay.
I kept looking at him going, why do I recognize your face? Like, why do I know you?
Yeah, like, it's weird. Like, they didn't really get, like, a ton of, like, known actors. Like, they're smaller actors, so, like, I feel like they were able to save on their budget and put that towards like their effects and stuff like that by not having a huge cast in this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's funny.
But I thought they all did really well.
Yeah, they did, especially for like if any of them are newcomers and stuff like that. Like they did fantastic, and they all had really good chemistry on screen. Like nothing seemed awkward or anything.
Of the Straw Hat Pirates, which of the 5 in that crew, it's 5, not 4, by the way,
hold on,
is your favorite?
I'm doing math. Hold on. Should we? Oh, yeah, there is 5. Yeah, you're right. There's 5.
Yeah, you got Monkey D. Luffy.
Right.
Roronoa Zoro.
Mm-hmm.
Nami.
Mm-hmm.
Usopp.
Yep, and then
Sanji.
Chef. I'm gonna call him the chef.
Yeah, Sanji the chef.
Yeah. So he's my favorite. Chef is my favorite. Yeah, I know.
Really?
It seems really weird.
He's barely even in it.
I'm a fucking foodie.
He pops up
whatever.
for like 2 episodes at the end.
Motherfucker can fucking kick like crazy and cook up a good meal out of limited ingredients. Come on now.
Fair. I thought Roronoa Zoro was cool, but I think Nami is the like character that like has the strongest story throughout the season.
Yeah, she does have a strong story. She's not like, I shouldn't say she's not a large asset to the group. She is a really good asset because she's the navigator, so they'd go nowhere without her. And she does have a really gripping backstory, but as far as like action is concerned, or like, you know, the muscle of the group, she's not really, she's more of like a damsel, I guess.
Yeah, I guess she acts as like, she's the sneaky thief who is able to like talk her way out of trouble and does quite often.
Yes.
Whereas Zoro and Sanji are the ones that they send in to fight people. And then Usopp is kind of just a goof. And then Luffy, yeah, is the leader who has crazy, basically, superpowers.
Yeah. Chloe walked in when I was watching, I think it was like the first episode, maybe the second episode, I don't remember. And she goes, oh, I know that guy. You've never watched the show before. And she goes, no, but I know of Zorro guy. She's like, he always has a sword in his mouth. And I go, huh, okay, thanks for the heads up. And that didn't happen until like way later. And I go, oh, there it is.
There it is. He put the sword in his mouth. Okay.
I thought she was just like messing with me. And I was like, oh, never mind. I guess that's what she was talking about. So bravo. At least they didn't leave that out. Because I guess, you know, people would be mad about that if that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, on the superpower stuff, what did you think of Luffy's basically
Stretchy arms,
stretchy
elastic
rubber
body.
man?
Yeah, he's like Mrs. Elastic. um, no, it was fun. I think it's a really unique kind of trait that he has because he doesn't have to really like do a whole lot. He just stretches out his freaking arm and like rounds it up to punch somebody. So bravo on that. It's pretty easy.
Hmm.
It was
Yeah,
kind of crazy though, watching him like when he was younger, figuring out and discovering these powers that he has.
I would like to see them explore that whole gum fruit,
Yes,
devil fruit
the
thing.
devil fruit thing. Yeah, so maybe if they go on to a second season, like we'll see like a backstory about that fruit and like you know what
Because
because
yeah, we,
it's interesting to see it like what it does to people. Like I want to know how it decides what person gets what essentially.
I think it depends on like what the fruit is that you eat. Like I think there's like different devil fruits and they all have like different abilities attached to them. Because like we kind of saw, we see Luffy's obviously with his
Yeah.
stretchy ability, and then we see what's his name, Buggy the clown, who has like the
Yeah.
slice and dice one. So I
There's
do like that there are those different ones. It'd be interesting to see what ones come in future seasons as well, because I assume there's going to be more of those.
Yeah, I would think so. Buggy's probably the best pirate too, by the way. Like he's ridiculous
Of
and
course, you like the creepy clown.
I absolutely actually hated him at first. I was like, this is the most annoying fucking character I have ever seen in my life. Like, good God. And then when his like body started popping apart, I was like, oh, never mind. He's cool as fuck.
No, my favorite was Dracul Mihawk.
Oh God, of course.
Gotta love a obvious Dracula
Looking
rip-off
like,
tie-in.
oh my God, Jesus. Ay, ay, ay.
And then, what did you think of like? I feel like he was the big bad of this season. Arlong, even though they kind of introduced him like halfway through, which was a bit
Yeah,
strange.
it was very strange. He was kind of just like a lingering pirate clan, and like eventually you came to see that he was like the big bad villain of the series or whatever, um, or at least this season. And it wasn't bad. Like I feel kind of like some of the fish people were a little overdone, maybe, or like just really awkward to look at. And his nose really bothered me. Like I understand he was supposed to be like a little shark thing, but
Yeah,
like
Sawfish.
his nose just bothered the fuck out of me because it was too small. Like, I feel like
Yeah,
he should have
probably
had a big nose or something to go
really
along with
big
him.
long one.
Yeah.
Yeah. His like right hand man, the blue guy with the big lips. I thought he looked horrible. That
Oh
looked
my god,
bad.
it looked like a like it looked like bad filler. Like
Hmm.
you just went and had way too much filler injection, and then I don't understand the kind of fish he's supposed to be, but he was making alcohol into little bombs and spitting them out. I'm like, I couldn't figure out what the fuck he was actually supposed to be, what kind of fish he was.
Yeah, I don't know. It was strange.
It was a very strange looking character. Yeah, he said some of them were very odd to look at.
Ah, with Buggy, I love that he's like super sensitive about his nose, and it's not a fake nose. Like that's his actual red
Nose.
bulbous nose, and he's like
Yeah.
really sensitive about people saying nose, even though they might be saying nose with a K.
Yeah, yeah. That was really funny. He also is like, I like how he always wants the spotlight on himself, so he gets really annoyed when other people are like taking his spotlight from him. That was really fun.
Couple of other like weird things throughout the season with the devil fruits. Did they lose their powers if they go in like ocean water? Is that what I was getting from that whole sequence?
I don't know because if that's the case, Luffy wouldn't have had his powers then because he got dropped in the water by
No,
Shark Dude.
I think like if they have seawater on them, they
Oh, then
can't
they
use
can't
their
utilize
powers.
it.
So that's why
Okay,
like
that
this
makes
the
sense.
fish guy splashes him and then drops him in
Yeah.
the ocean, and then someone else has the issue. But yeah, like they keep like putting him in the water so that he can't do anything. It's like
Yeah.
that's a cool like play off, and I can see that being a major factor later down the line.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. I guess I didn't put two and two together. But yeah, that makes sense.
Also, the snails as communication
Telephones.
devices was so funny.
And the fact that they have a little snail shell that they put in their ear to communicate was just like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
I also
Yeah,
like that the Marines have like their snail has like a fucking beard. Or it looked
mm-hmm.
like it had a beard on
Yeah, like the megaphone snail.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of those things I was like, this is a very anime show. Like
Yeah.
they didn't like tone it back and like try and make it a bit more serious or straightforward. Like they lent into it. Like there are fish people. We use snails as telecommunication devices.
Yeah, everybody's got like wild like pink, blue hair, fire red hair and stuff like that. Like they did a really good job of bringing that over and interpreting it properly and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, like it does have very anime feel to it. It's like, okay, we're watching a serious Netflix series. Like, nope, it's silly anime. Like the fight sequences are silly anime fights. Like, thinking that
Yeah.
is it the last episode when they invade Arlong's base camp? Like we see
Yeah.
Sanji just like come flying across the screen and kick a dude, and
Yeah, and him
people are
and
getting
Zoro, like,
kicked and flying everywhere.
yeah, and they're like against each other, like they're talking smack to each other while they're fighting together and stuff like that. It's great.
And superheroes call out their finishing moves, and
was
Zoro's
great.
just like, "Yep, you're gonna fit right in."
Yeah, that was so fun. I really wish, and I don't know if it's like a thing. It could be. I don't know, but I feel like they should definitely look into making like a restaurant made out of a pirate ship somewhere, and like just keep it after that.
surely there is a One Piece
There's got to be, because that would be
restaurant
so
somewhere.
genius.
Even like the cinematography really captures the anime feel. Like we see some moments where the crew is looking at like a building, and it's just like it looks gigantic compared to like what it would look like if it was just like regular life. Like it'd be a 3-story house, but the way they frame it makes it look like it's this like 130-story building,
Massive thing. Yeah.
which is very cool.
No, yeah, it was really fun. I'm glad that they didn't skimp on those kind of things.
Without like getting into spoilers, just seeing what else I wrote down. Yeah, the whole like Nami story. What did you think of that? Where she seems to be on their side, and then she's clearly like working behind their backs, and then she bails on them, and she like threatens to bail on them multiple times before she finally does. And
I was really angry with her.
oh yeah,
I was so mad, and like when they originally like hinted that she might not be like all that she appears to be, I was very, very angry, and I thought like she was, working with like the Marines and stuff like that to like, just like trap everybody. And I was like, all right, well, this girl's a shithead, like fuck her or whatever. And then you find out her backstory, and I'm like, all right, well, she's not so bad, but she could have gone about this like a whole different way if she wanted to. But she's very, very headstrong and very independent. So I appreciate her for being like that.
yeah. Her whole journey through the series is like a massive roller coaster. It's like, oh yeah, she's really cool. Oh no, she's a like dirty spy. I hate her. And then she sort of starts to come back, and you're like, okay, cool. Now they're back. Like they're solidified as a crew now after they save Kaya. Okay,
Yes.
cool. They're a crew now. They're going to be all good. And then she's like, I'm out, and just steals the map and legs it. You're like, what the? Come back. What are you doing? And then episode 8, they like reveal everything. You're like, oh, okay. I kind of don't hate you anymore, but
Right.
maybe just tell some people about what's going on.
Yeah.
Like even
Let
her
us know a
sister
little
had
bit.
no idea.
Yeah, it was really weird, and like, I love how her sister's like, oh, but you're leaving? Like, I was just starting to like you again. Like, that was the funniest thing because she spent so long hating her.
Yeah, so it was cool, and they do a great job of leaving every episode on a cliffhanger, basically, where you have like, okay, I gotta watch the next one.
Yeah.
very anime style.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh shit, I can't stop now. I got to watch the rest. Especially
Me-
like deaths too. Like they end on a lot of like, is the person dead?
Yes. Yes. Yep. Can we take a moment to acknowledge how, and this might just be my own personal opinion, but how lame the cat pirate people are, because I fucking hated that entire shenanigans. Like the whole like I'm a kitty cat thing was really weird for me.
Especially because it was like, it was the henchman that lent into that whole cat thing more than the captain.
Yeah. Yep.
The captain was just an asshole.
Yeah, and he had really cool Freddy Krueger fingers.
That's exactly what I thought when he popped out the claws. I was like, oh, he's just the Freddy Krueger pirate. Okay.
Yeah. But then it just made no sense that his fucking henchmen were cats, or like they thought they were fucking, I don't know. It was really weird.
Yeah. They were the black cat pirates.
Yeah, it was like the worst clan ever.
Yeah. And even Buggy the Clown, like you said, you hate him, and then you kind of, once he like loses his body, he kind of becomes a little bit more charming and fun. You're like, okay, this guy's kind of a fool, but cool. I did like the little like mini like chibi Buggy.
Yeah.
He has like no torso; it's just arms and a head.
Yeah, that was really funny.
But then as soon as he gets his body back, he's like, see ya. You're like, fuck you.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, it was really strange, and like I think he's just going to be one of those like continuous like funky villains where you don't really know if he's like a true villain or if he's just, you know, an idiot in general.
Yeah, like, so a big spoiler for the end now. Where they end the season, we see Buggy and Alvida, I think her name was.
Oh yeah, the
like
Hobie,
pink sparkly pirate from episode 1.
Yes, who was really strange, and she looked really familiar too. I don't know where I've seen her, but she looked really familiar.
But yeah, we see those two are together, and it's like, okay, they're gonna go after Luffy for his 30 million berry bounty, which is pretty insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was interesting. We also find out that Luffy's mentor, Shanks, is alive. I was like, oh, I thought he was probably dead.
Yeah, it's like now I kind of want to watch the anime because I want to know more about Shanks' character, because I feel like he is way more important than what they have hinted so far. And when we were at Horror Nights of all places, like some guy had a jacket and it had Shanks's like silhouette on the back of it with like a bunch of things surrounding it, and Chloe's like, oh yeah, that's Shanks, I know that. And I go, why the fuck is this guy so important then? Because he was like a side character that we saw for a whole 20 minutes.
Yeah, he was kind of just like Luffy's motivation to become a pirate, and then he just disappears.
Yeah, so like I don't understand how I'm guessing he's probably important later on or something like that, but he looked like a proud dad, honestly, when like he saw Luffy's wanted poster. It's just like, holy shit, look, he got
everybody was. I think everybody, when they turned in the newspaper and they saw the wanted poster, like, oh cool, they did it.
Good for him, and he was so excited to get his wanted poster. Like, of all, you know, he just had like the most purest reaction to it. It was wonderful.
Yep. And yeah, I'm interested to see, interested to see Buggy and Alvida, how they play into it now. I assume the Marine, like Luffy's grandfather, which was a big shock. I guess he's kind of done now, maybe.
Yeah. I don't.
But then now we've also got Shanks and Mihawk kind of teaming up as well. So lots of like interesting parties floating around there.
Yeah, and everybody seems to know Shanks. That's the thing that's really interesting to me, is that like anytime that they see Luffy's hat, they're like, wow, that looks like it belonged to somebody that I used to know too. And it's just really strange that every single person that they've come across has been like, oh yeah, I knew someone with a hat like that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, I'm I've actually really enjoyed it. I'm excited to see where it goes from here. There was lots of like twists and turns, very anime, where you're like, okay, this is happening, and then all of a sudden something crazy happens and it spins you off in a new direction.
Yes.
But yeah, overall, I think the biggest issue is condensing it so much. But
it's a lot to take in.
As a new viewer, though, I think, apart from the obviously big gap we're going to get now between seasons, if there is even is a season 2, for me, this is going to be the way to watch One Piece. I cannot see myself committing to watching nearly 1,100 episodes.
What? I was just about to ask
catch
you
up.
if you wanted to start watching it. Like, we could totally do this. Come on, it'll be great.
I still got Dragon Ball to finish rewatching. I can't commit to 1,000 episode anime about
You'll get
pirates.
it done in like 6 months. It'll be fine. Just like,
especially 1,000 episode anime where I've essentially already seen the story for the first 44 episodes.
we'll see. Then it takes off like that many more. So now you only have.
There's
like
still over
1,030.
1,000 episodes though.
Look, you brought it down from 6 months to like 5 months now.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I will just wait the 2+ years and watch it via Netflix. Hopefully they continue it. Hopefully they don't jip us and give them a second, maybe give them a 2-season renewal and then just drop it after 3. I hope they don't do that. Like, they need to, if they're going to do it, commit and do the full story.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm hoping that if they are able to do that, maybe they'll just film the seasons back to back, so there's not a huge gap in between like a season 2 and 3 moment. Like that.
And they've already
really
like
ideal.
they've already done the investment up front. Like, they've built the team to create the show, and the VFX. A lot of the VFX, like, they can sort of use those tools and assets again.
Yeah.
They built all the ships. Like, they don't have to outlay that initial production cost to build all the ships again. Like,
No, and they
just
have
renew to, like, season 2 and 3 are going to be much cheaper to produce.
Yeah, plus, I mean, the source material is all over there, so literally they just have to figure out, like, where to cut and paste things in that makes sense into episodes at that point. It's not like they have to go back and rewrite a bunch of things. They just have to figure out what's going to work in condensing it into how many episodes at that point.
Yeah, like, it's purely adaptation. It's not, okay. It's not Stranger Things where it's like, oh, okay, we got a new season. Now we have to write this season and make it cohesive with the rest. Like, we have 1,000 episodes. We just got to pick the main key points and weave them together correctly.
Yeah, they also got lucky because these kids are not necessarily kids. They're like a little bit older, so they don't have to worry about like them outgrowing their character right now. Like they're in like a good area where they can still kind of like work with that for a while. So I think that's going to work to their advantage as well.
Yeah, that's definitely the issue with like Stranger Things. They were at that age where puberty's hitting and they're changing rapidly, whereas these people are sort of at an age where they're going to change, but not like
drastically
year to year big drastic changes.
Yes, yeah.
So, in terms of a rating for Netflix's One Piece, what would you give this show or this season?
The season, I'm going to probably give it a 3, honestly, and it's nothing against it. It's not that it wasn't bad. For me, it's still, parts of it are still a little bit too dragged out for me. I feel like they could have maybe shortened the episodes, and if they wanted to go with like a 10 episode thing, they could have maybe shortened it a little bit, or just kind of held back on some of the material that they put into so many episodes. But I mean, it's still enjoyable. I just don't know if I'd go back and dedicate like another 8 hours to watching it again right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'd be about the same. Like, it's a 3, but it's like a high-end 3 because of like the production and the quality of it. But yeah, like I don't feel like they dragged overly, but I think they just tried to cram too much in to 8 episodes. Like, I think if they just kept the exact same content but spread it over 10 episodes and let some things sit and breathe and give us some sort of calmer, chill moments where we're just with the crew on a journey, I think that would have made it made the flow a little bit better rather than like
Yeah.
beat to beat. Let's get to the next big thing. Let's get to the next big thing. Like it felt like
Right.
they really did just go, okay, what's the East Blue Saga of the series?
Mm-hmm.
What are the key points? Okay, they're the 10, 12 key moments that we need to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Jam them all in. It's like, oh, that's... We crammed a lot into 8 episodes.
Yeah. And
Like-
I feel like with this, like, I don't even know if they touched upon it, but there probably might have been, because I haven't seen the anime, I'm wondering if there's more pirates in the East Blue that they did not hit upon that might pop up later on. Because in my head, I'm thinking, like, it ended really, really well, don't get me wrong, but I feel like they could have had, like, some shot or something like that, even in, like, the ending with, like, at a bar scene where they have just, like, a wanted poster, like, poster board, like, for all of the pirates in the area, and then just Luffy's in the damn straight middle. That way you could see, like, how many people are actually still out there.
I think we did see, like, a few, like, panning shots across, like, walls and stuff where there were wanted posters of... I did read somewhere that there was, like, 2 in particular that were, like... The wanted posters were, like, Easter eggs for other pirates that
Okay.
are in the anime. So there are other pirates out there. And it did end on, like, that... The cigar guy,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which I imagine is, like, an Easter egg and, like, a teaser for some other big
next-
pirate. But
Yeah.
as a new watcher, that just is lost on me. It's like, okay, cool, there's a pirate that smokes 2 cigars at once.
Yes, that seems like a bit excessive, honestly. But all the pirates who you're a pirate live on the edge.
Yeah, I think, and I imagine there's going to be more members of the Straw Hat Pirates added as well. Like 5 is a pretty bare bones crew for the size of ship that they have.
Yes, they need a cat. They need every pirate ship has a cat or some form of animal, and they need a cat.
But yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I would recommend like watching it.
Yeah, it's
And
fun,
then-
and you know, I mean, if you've seen the anime, I think it'd be really fun to compare the two. You know, if you've got some extra time and you want to see like what all the hype is about, I think it'd be really fun. And if you haven't seen the anime, then this is a really good way to, I guess,
Yeah, it's a great
get
introduction.
introduced. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and like even if you just watch the first episode is, it gives you a good like glimpse of what the season is going to be. Like if you don't enjoy that first episode, then obviously don't continue. But
Yeah.
if it captures you in any way, like the rest of the season will
Mm-hmm.
do just the same. Like you'll enjoy the whole season.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Alrighty, that is Netflix's One Piece. Thank you for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and on YouTube. You can follow Corrina on Instagram at Miss Corrina Renee, and you can follow me on social media at Jamie Ups Media and at Pario Magazine. The commentary booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Ups Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine, Pario Magazine, on Patreon at patreon.com/JamieUpsMedia. The following people supported at the publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support.